Imagine waking up one morning to a disturbing realization that the life you're living might not actually be your life. That the decisions you've made, the beliefs you've held, and the desires that pushed you may not have come from your true self at all, but from the expectations, conditioning, and invisible influences of the world around you. Think about it. How much of your identity is truly you, and how much is a mask shaped by the hands of the outside world? Have you ever felt like this? It's like I'm playing a role, as if someone else wrote the script and I'm just following it. That invisible script written by society, your family, your fears, or your past experiences. Today we're diving into one of Carl Gustav Jung's most striking ideas. Life begins when a person becomes himself. But what does it mean to become yourself? Is it simply gaining awareness? Or is it something deeper, something transformative? Keep going, because as you discover the hidden forces shaping your identity, you'll begin to understand why most people never reach their true selves. And once you see how to break this cycle, your view of yourself will completely shift. Let me ask you something. Do you hear a part of yourself in what I'm saying? Are there moments when you quietly ask, who am I really? Jung was a pioneer of deep psychology. He wasn't interested in the surface level of the mind. He ventured into the dark, vast, unknown territories of the unconscious. For him, being healthy wasn't about fitting into society. Real healing was the journey back to oneself, the process of individuation, becoming your most authentic self. But the truth is, most people never start this journey. They remain trapped inside a self shaped by external forces. They live without questioning. They seek approval from others. They search for happiness in success or acceptance. Yet deep inside there is always a restlessness, an indescribable sense of missing something. Jung would say, real life begins when a person stops running from himself. But what does it mean to run from yourself? And why are people so afraid to look inside? From the moment a person enters the world, they begin to be shaped. Names, roles, expectations, norms. This is acceptable. This isn't. Don't say that. Act like this. Behaviors rewarded, emotions punished. It happens so subtly, so slowly, that no one notices. But over time, pieces that don't belong to you start sticking to you. Your own voice shrinks. The world's voice grows louder. Maybe you were scolded for expressing an emotion freely. Maybe they told you to be realistic when you dreamed. Maybe when you cried they said you're too sensitive and silenced you. And without realizing it, you began hiding pieces of yourself. This is how the mask Jung called the persona forms. The persona is the face we show the world. It helps us function, communicate, get accepted. But here's the problem. If you wear this mask for too long, you forget your real face. Have you ever felt this way? That the version of you in public and the version inside you are completely different? Why do you think that gap exists? But this is not the end. Opposite the persona lies something far more complex, the shadow. Whatever the persona shows, the shadow hides. The fears we suppress, the desires we bury, the words we never say. But also our hidden strengths, potentials, and abilities live in the shadow. And the shadow never disappears. Everything we avoid facing continues to live in the unconscious, shaping our thoughts, behaviors, and emotional reactions. Have you ever felt sudden anger towards someone you barely know? Do certain people trigger you more than they should? Why do you think that is? According to Jung, the qualities that bother us in others are often parts of our own shadow. Stop here for a moment and ask yourself, is what disturbs you truly in them, or is it something hidden within you? But here's the most important part. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is the doorway to wholeness. Jung's great insight was this: psychological growth is not about destroying the shadow, but integrating it. When you face what you've been avoiding, a tremendous personal power emerges. Have you ever wondered what lies in your own shadow? Maybe the strength you've been searching for is hidden in the part of yourself you're afraid to acknowledge. Most people think they know who they are: name, profession, past. But these are only the visible parts of the iceberg. Jung said that within every person lies a much larger, deeper inner world. Repressed emotions, forgotten memories, unnoticed desires, and potentials waiting to be uncovered. Finding yourself is not about creating a new identity, but discovering what has been buried. Have you ever felt a deep inner voice? A longing that whispers, "There is more in me." That voice is the call of the unconscious, but most people never hear that call. And even if they do, they run. Because facing yourself is not easy. Meeting your darkness, questioning beliefs you've carried for years, it takes courage. This is why people cannot tolerate silence. They distract themselves constantly. Work, social media, entertainment, because in silence the unconscious begins to speak. Do you think you sometimes run from yourself too? Do you distract yourself so your thoughts won't disturb you? But no matter how far you run, what is suppressed never disappears. It returns as anxiety, self-sabotage, toxic relationships, repeated mistakes. Jung would say, "The unconscious speaks to us, but we have learned not to listen." Here Jung gives a powerful example: the fear of rejection. People who seek approval and hesitate to speak their mind often carry something deeper. Invisible wounds from childhood, feeling unseen, unworthy, not enough. This fear is not just an emotion. It's a shadow piece rising from the unconscious. And unless you confront it, it controls your behavior. But once you face it, it loses its power. Imagine for a moment, if you had no fear of being judged, who would you be? How would you speak? Which decisions would you stop postponing? Feeling this is the beginning of individuation, the birth of the courage to be yourself. So, how do we begin? According to Jung, the gates of the unconscious open in 3 places: symbols, dreams, and introspection. Dreams are messages from the unconscious. Creativity, writing, painting, creating, is the language of the soul. But the most important step is one word: awareness. The moment you begin questioning your thoughts, change begins. When you approach yourself with curiosity instead of avoidance, transformation arises. Because most people live their entire lives as strangers to themselves. They follow society's path. They suppress their nature. But you don't have to be like that. You can leave behind every limitation and return to your own truth. You've come this far. Now, ask yourself, what am I ready to let go of to find my true self? But the journey doesn't end here. Now we go even deeper. Archetypes. Ancient psychological patterns hidden in the unconscious. Within all of us lives a hero, a shadow, a sage, a child. And these archetypes shape our lives. Take the hero archetype. Every time you feel a call towards something greater, that's its voice. But wherever the hero is, the shadow is there too. Barriers, fears, resistance. Every moment in real life when you want to change but pull back, that's where the battle happens, between the hero and the shadow. People try to fight the shadow. Jung says, if you reject your shadow, you cannot grow. You must understand it. Ask yourself now, which fear has been holding you in place for years? And could there be hidden strength behind that fear? Archetypes are not limited to the hero and the shadow. In the unconscious live the anima in men and the animus in women, the inner opposite qualities, not about gender, but about energies. In men, intuition, emotion, creativity. In women, logic, structure, decisiveness. When these are out of balance, people feel inner conflict, but when they recognize and accept them, profound wholeness emerges. And here lies Jung's greatest truth. Finding yourself is not rejecting your parts, but embracing all of them. And now, we arrive at the essence of the entire journey, the illusion of self. Most people say, "This is who I am." But that identity is only a small construct of the mind. Jung said the true self is far bigger, far deeper, like an endless field of consciousness. Have you ever wondered, the me you believe you are right now, what is it made of? Habits, fears, stories repeated for years. What if your current identity is only a tiny fragment of your real self? This realization is both freeing and frightening. Because the self you thought was real might have been just a shell. Why do people feel limited? Why do they suffer, fear, doubt? The answer, the ego. The ego draws boundaries, creates roles, tries to keep you safe, but also keeps you small. But you are not the ego. The ego is just a mask. The true self is infinitely larger. How do you reach it? Jung's path is this. Move toward the unknown. Don't run. Release the labels stuck onto you. Listen to the unconscious. Surrender to the process. Because the journey is not a destination, it is a continuous unfolding. And the greatest truth is this: you were never lost. The self you've been searching for was always inside you. So now I'll ask you one last question. Are you ready to become your full self, or will you return to the small limits of your old identity? Because life truly begins when a person becomes himself.